In this session, we are going to talk about another very important part of the garbage that we produce, and that is plastic. In the previous session, we saw that how we can recycle the paper, but now we are going to discuss whether or not we will be able to recycle plastic. We are going to discuss whether the plastic is a boon or is it a curse. So first of all, let's understand that plastic is, if wherever you're sitting right now, just look around yourself and you will find that there are so many plastic items around you. There may be plastic bottle, there may be plastic toys, or some equipment might be made up of plastic. Definitely, the plastics can be of different types, right? So some of these plastics can be recycled, but not all of them, right? So in this way, when we look around ourselves, we will find different variety of plastics. If you touch a bottle of, say, water, right, which is made up of plastic, and you touch a toy, right, you will find that the type of plastic is quite different, right? So that is the reason why we say that few of them can be recycled, whereas others can be not. The ones which can be recycled are comparatively less of a threat for the environment, whereas the one which we cannot recycle are quite dangerous, right? So let's understand that why do these polythene bags create so much of problem in the garbage disposal. So now, if you remember the activity that we did, that is the activity number 1, in which you must have seen that you had made 4 groups, in which 2 groups were the ones wherein you put the garbage in the pit as it is without covering it with the plastic, whereas the other type of garbage you put it in a plastic. Now you must have seen the rate of decomposition, and you must have noticed that the one which was in the plastic did not decompose, and even the plastic which it was in did not decompose. So now you must have understood that why the plastic that is present in the garbage is such a problem during the garbage disposal. The very first thing is that it does not get decomposed naturally, right? As compared to the other items, even if you put a paper, right? If you put a paper that is not shiny paper, it's a normal paper, and you put it inside your, a pit, you will find that after a month, maybe if you open the pit again, you will find that the paper has decomposed. If you keep a plastic over there, if a plastic bag, you will find even after a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you will see that the plastic has not disintegrated or decomposed. And that's why we say that plastic is really dangerous for our environment, right? Like I said, if you look around yourself, you will find different things like toys, bags, pens, bottles, so many different things, different containers that are made up of plastic. It is, you can say, a necessary evil. The reason is that there are so many things that we use on daily basis that are made up of this material. The reason is this material is cheap, it is durable. So what can we do, right? When we see that the material is present like everywhere around us, what is it that we can do to reduce the problems that this material create around us? The very first thing is that the excessive use of the plastic is quite dangerous. When I say excessive, student, it means that where you can utilize any other option, you still utilizing the plastic bag. Like we've already discussed that what you can do is, while you're going out for shopping, take your own cloth bag or a jute bag instead of asking plastic bag from the shopkeeper. This will again reduce the number of polythene bags that are being circulated in our society, that are being used, right? So, like I said, the problem arises when we use plastics excessively and are ignorant about the ways of disposing their waste. In what way are we disposing these plastics? Again, creates a lot of problem. In the later classes, you will study that how these plastics are also contaminating the water and how is it dangerous for our environment. Also, we will see that when we are disposing of these plastics, it creates a lot of problem in the recycling of the garbage as well, right? So, how can we avoid, like I said, the excessive use of plastic should be avoided. So how can we do that? Very first thing is, plastic bags are not suitable for keeping eatables. right? So why is it not suitable for keeping eatables? There is a reason. Whenever we are heating up a plastic, right? Whenever you must have experienced that if you burn a plastic, there is a very pungent smell that comes out of it. The reason of this pungent smell is the harmful gases it releases on being heated up, right? So every kind of plastic, when it is heated up or it's burning, it gives out very harmful gases, right? These harmful gases are literally toxic for us, right? And this happens when the plastic is heating or it is burning. That's why it is suggested that we do not burn the plastic, or we do not keep the cooked food item in the plastic, that is your the plastic bags. The reason is, when you keep the hot item in a plastic bag, it starts heating up. The plastic bag starts heating up, and it releases toxic chemicals into the food, right? And if this kind of practice continues, it will eventually harm our health, right? So this is the reason why it is not suggested that you keep your hot food in the plastic. There are certain plastics which are approved by the government. These are already tested, and these are certified to be used for the eatables, right? Only those kind of plastics should be used. Apart from that, another very important thing to understand is that when, if you remember, we had talked about the rag pickers. So what these rag pickers do, like I said, they pick up the plastics, they pick up plastic bottles, they pick up the paper, right? All these and the rags. So what they do is they separate it. Sometimes these people, what they do is they wash these polythins, right? These poly bags, and as it is, these are used again, right? So what they do is they pick up the poly bags from the garbage, they wash it off properly, dry it off, fold it, and they use it again, right? So this is again a very dangerous thing, because of the material that have been disposed of in this plastic. First of all, those could be decomposed, and there might be certain microorganisms and disease causing microbes in that plastic which is coming to you, right? That is one of the reasons why you should not carry eatables in the plastics. Apart from that, these plastics might also contain certain toxic materials, right? There might be a case where the toxic material was packed in the plastic bag and then it was disposed of, right? So in this way, we see that how we should not use the plastic bags for eatables. The reason is that it is a very dangerous component, and if you are keeping the hot food, the heat from the hot food will cause the plastic to release harmful chemicals into the food, and eventually it might hamper your health drastically. It might also cause cancer, right? So you can see that how dangerous the use of plastic is. Apart from that, there are the recycling, which is not actually a proper recycling. It's just washing of these poly bags and then using it again. Now at this point, Paheli has a suggestion. It's a very wise suggestion, that anything which has been used to store poisonous substances, it may be insecticides or pesticides, right? Weedicides, any kind of container which has been used to store poisonous substances should not be recycled, and it should not be used for keeping eatables, or it should not be made into plastic bags. Why? Because again, there might be a case where these toxic items were not completely cleaned off from these plastic bags and plastic containers, and might eventually be harmful. If somebody consumes anything from that particular bag, it might be dangerous, right? So definitely it's a very good suggestion, and everybody should keep this in mind. Now, apart from that, there's another problem with the garbage disposal, right? Many of us in our houses use these plastic bags to dispose of garbage. What we do generally is that we take the food items, say for example, if we have any food item which has been, which is not which we cannot eat. Let's suppose there is a dough which is now fermented and we do not want to eat it. So what we do is we usually put it in the plastic bag, tie the plastic bag and throw it out in the garbage. what happens in this case is that the animals like cows, right, they definitely smell the food inside that plastic, but because they are unable to open it, right, because the disposal has been in a wrong way, they end up eating the plastic as well, right? And what happens is, because of such kind of irresponsible disposal of the garbage, the animals die because of the consumption of the plastic and accumulation of such plastic bags in their body. There have been reports of cows and such stray animals dying because of so many plastic bags in their body, that the body functioning had been stopped completely, and eventually they died because of the reason. So when we are disposing of things, especially eatables like vegetable peels, fruit peels, fruits, or veggies which have gone bad, or anything which is eatable, that should not be disposed in the plastic bags. We should not use the plastic bags for disposal of the garbage. The reason is, first of all, it is it will harm the environment, and second, stray animals might eat it up and end up dying because of this, right? So again, it's a proper way of disposing of garbage is very important. Then apart from that, as you can see that these plastic bags are thrown, these plastic materials over here, you can see different plastic materials are thrown out into the garbage carelessly, right? They are thrown, suppose a person is eating a packet of chips, and they just eat the chips and throw away the packet, right? That packet might, with the help of, with the wind, it might blow into a drain, and eventually what will happen, that they will get stuck in the sewer, right? And because of this reason, because when they get stuck in the sewer, they will block the sewerage system, and eventually it will cause a lot of problem, right? So this is the reason why that the drain system and the sewer system fails, right? Because of, again, the careless disposal of things that are made up of plastic bags. You can see the plastic buckets, right? The chips packet, the bottles, and so on and so forth. So proper disposal is very, very important. We've also discussed that the government has also placed two kinds of bins. One is the green bin, another is the blue bin, right? In the green bin, what we put is things like vegetable peels, right? Vegetable and fruit peels, right? Whereas on the other hand, in the blue bins, we put things like packets, right? Polythene bags. Then we put bottles, right? All these things need to be disposed of properly, so that this kind of situation is not seen, right? This is a very it's a very dangerous situation, because when the rains, when the monsoon will come, because the drainage system is blocked, it will flood the area, right? So because of these reasons, proper disposal is important. Now, once we have understood that how the plastic is a problem for our environment, how dangerous it is in various aspects of our life, let's understand what can we do to minimize the effect and the use of plastic, and how can we deal with the garbage. First of all, we can make the minimum use of plastic bags. Like I said, that we should not ask for plastic bags from the shopkeepers. It is always advisable to carry cloth bags or jute bags while going for shopping. If you want, suppose if you went for shopping and you did not realize you didn't have a bag, we should always insist that the shopkeepers should keep paper bags instead of polythene bags, right? Because again, like I said, paper is easy to recycle, it decomposes, and it does not harm the environment, right? We should not use plastic bags to store eatables for various reasons. Like I said, that if we store especially the hot eatables in the plastic bags, what will happen? That it will release toxic chemicals into the food, and this will deteriorate our health. Next, we do not throw plastic bags here and there after use, right? So like I said, government has been working in creating different kinds of, there have been two kinds of bins that have been installed everywhere, where you need to recognize that you need to, whenever you're using a plastic bag and you need to throw it, you should always throw it in a bin instead of just throwing it on the road, because again it is very dangerous for for our drainage and sewer system, and during the heavy rains it will create flood like a situation, because the drains will not be able to take away the water, right? So this is something that we should do and we should be careful about. We never burn plastic bags and other plastic items. The reason is that they release harmful gases on being heated up or burning, and these harmful gases are really dangerous for our health. These are toxic in nature. We do not put garbage in plastic bags and throw it away, because when we do that, it becomes really dangerous for the stray animals, especially animals like cows and these bulls which are out there, and they feed on these garbage material. If they are not able to reach the food item in the plastic easily, what they do is they eat up the plastic itself, and because of that, what will happen, the accumulation of plastic takes place in their body and they die, right? So this is something that we should be very, very careful of. We use vermicomposting at home and deal with our kitchen waste usefully. So what we should do is that like we've already studied that how we do vermicomposting, how we do composting. So this process should be used in the homes, in the societies, so that whatever kitchen waste we are producing, we can deal with it easily. And what we can do is that we can use it, right? First of all, we are not increasing the amount of garbage. And secondly, what we are doing is we are making it into a very, very useful item. Suppose in the society you've made the compost, everybody in the society can benefit from that, right? So we should do that. Next is that we should recycle the paper. We should recycle the paper. There are two ways. One is the way which I have suggested, by making paper mache, by recycling and making recycled papers at home. This is something which you can do for fun. Apart from that, instead of throwing away the papers in the garbage, you can give it away to the kabadiwalas which come around in every society, and these people actually help in recycling the paper. We should use both sides of the paper to write, right? The reason for this is that suppose if you're just writing on the one side, what will happen? You're wasting the other side. And students, for one ton paper, every year 17 full grown trees have to be fallen. So to avoid the deforestation also, we should use both sides of the paper. Especially if you want, what we can do is, another thing is we can use slates, right? So you can use slate and chalk for doing rough work. So this, you can use a big slate, you can write it, you can rub, and then you can write it again. So in this way, you will reduce the amount of paper that you are using. Another thing which we can do is we can make our family, friends and others to follow proper practices for disposing different kinds of waste. After this chapter, you have understood that what are the harmful effects of producing large amount of garbages. You have also understood that what we can do to deal with the garbage that we produce. So we should ask and we should get our families, our societies, our neighbors to follow these processes, so that everybody can contribute into this noble cause, right? It's a very, very important work, and we should work for it, and we should ask everybody to follow the proper norms of disposing of the waste, right? So in this way, students, we have seen that how the garbage is being produced every day by us, and what are the different kinds of garbage that we actually come across. Then we've also seen the different ways in which we can deal with the garbage and reduce its amount. I hope you were able to understand this. Now let's move on and answer some questions.